Leo, it's Maria. The housekeeper's voice was strained over the phone. She's refusing to eat again. I stormed into the darkened room, my eyes adjusting to find Claire curled up in the far corner of her massive bed. Claire, I said softly, the sun's out today. It's beautiful. She looked up, and her eyes were empty, hollowed out. What's the point of being alive? Later, so much later, she would finally smile for me again. And on that very same day, I would have to look her in the eye and say, I never loved you. My name is Leo Morgan. I was a standard-issue tech drone, another casualty of the startup grind, and the brutal hours had bleached all hope for my life. Then one night, after a code sprint that had me staring at a screen until 3 a.m., I finally passed out with my face glued to the keyboard. And then, I shot upright in bed, my heart hammering. I took in my surroundings, my mind reeling. This wasn't my cramped studio apartment in Brooklyn. This was a sprawling, sun-drenched bedroom that looked like it belonged on the cover of an architectural magazine, with heavy oak furniture and floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking a vast green lawn. Sir, you're awake? A woman in a neat uniform, a housekeeper, I guessed, stepped into the room. It's about Miss Claire. She's refusing to eat again. Your father asked if you would try talking to her. I was completely lost. What the hell was happening? Was I dreaming? Then a flood of memories that weren't mine rushed into my head. I'd been dropped into the life of another Leo Morgan, the heir to a fortune. And Miss Claire was Claire Sullivan, my childhood friend. According to this new intel, Claire had always been quiet and withdrawn, but recently she'd fallen into a deep depression, shutting herself away from the world. The whole family was terrified for her. A thought, clear and sharp, cut through my confusion. I'm from the 21st century. I know about this stuff. How hard could it be to help someone with depression? Claire's room was sealed behind thick, blackout curtains, making midday feel like midnight. I pushed the door open and saw a frail silhouette huddled in the corner of the bed. That was Claire. Claire. I called out gently. She looked up, her face pale and drawn. Her eyes were vacant. Leo, what are you doing here? A pang of sympathy hit me. I walked over and sat on the edge of the bed. I heard you weren't eating. You can't keep doing this. I'm not hungry. She looked down at her hands. Besides, it doesn't matter. There's no point to any of it. I sat beside her, keeping my voice low. Claire, you know, your meaning in life isn't about what other people think. It's about you. She froze, a flicker of surprise in her eyes. It was obvious she'd never heard anything like that before. Look, I said, pointing toward the window. The sun is amazing out there. Why don't we go for a walk? No, I don't want to, she whispered, shrinking further into the corner. I thought for a moment, then an idea hit me. Okay, then how about I tell you a story? What story? It's about a little stray dog who was afraid of everything. From that day on, I went to Claire's room every day. I told her stories from my world, silly jokes I remembered from the internet, and I started weaving in basic concepts from psychology. Claire, have you ever heard of cognitive behavioral therapy? No, it's about changing the way you look at things. For example, you might feel like you're useless, but the truth is you can paint, you play the piano beautifully, and you write poetry. Those are incredible talents most people don't have. A tiny spark ignited in her eyes. Really? Absolutely. I said, my tone firm. Everyone has value. Sometimes we just get blinded by the darkness. Slowly, she started opening up. She began talking to me, and more importantly, she started eating again. A month later, she finally agreed to leave her room. Leo, the flowers in the garden are beautiful, she said, a fragile, long-lost smile gracing her lips. Watching her, I felt a profound sense of accomplishment. I never realized that helping someone find their way out of the shadows could feel this meaningful. 3 months into our new routine, Claire was transforming. She was painting again, filling canvases with color. She played the piano, and the house was once again filled with music. And I, almost without noticing, found myself completely drawn to her. One afternoon, she played a piece for me. The melody was crisp and clear, and the way she focused on the keys was captivating. Claire, that was incredible. She blushed. It's all because of you, Leo. If it weren't for you, I might have. Don't say that. I cut in gently. The past is the past. She nodded, then gathered her courage. Leo, why did you decide to help me? I paused, then offered a smile. Because you're my oldest friend. Who else would I help? But I knew, even as I said it, that it was already more than that. After her recovery, Claire blossomed. She became brighter, more animated. She would seek me out to chat, show me her latest painting, or play a new piece she'd learned on the piano. I found myself looking forward to our time together more than anything. Leo, look at what I painted today. She ran up to me, holding out a canvas. It was a painting of the two of us in the garden. It's amazing, I said honestly. You're getting better every day. Yeah, she beamed proud. I've decided. From now on, I'm only painting for you. My heart warmed, but I kept my cool on the surface. Well, in that case, I'll have to get a bigger vault. In truth, I had already carefully stored every single painting she had made since she'd started again. One day, she asked me out of the blue, Leo, is there anyone you like? My heart skipped a beat, but I managed a casual, not at the moment. What? Oh, no reason, she said, looking down at her feet. Just wondering. Seeing her disappointment, a wave of regret washed over me. I wanted to say it right then. Yes, it's you. 6 months later, Claire had made a full recovery. She was not just back to her old self. She was more vibrant and beautiful than ever. One afternoon, she found me by the library, a nervous energy about her. Leo, I have to tell you something. What is it? She took a deep breath. I'm in love with you. I was completely stunned. I know you might not feel the same way, she rushed on, but I had to tell you. These past 6 months, you saved me. You gave me the courage to live again. I want to be with you, not just out of gratitude, but because I really, truly love you. My heart was hammering against my ribs, but a cold dose of reality washed over me. I'm not from here. One day I have to go back. And besides, her feelings were probably just a mix of gratitude and dependency. It couldn't be real love. Claire, you're still figuring things out, I said, the words tasting like ash in my mouth. You shouldn't rush into anything. Disappointment clouded her face. So I was wrong. No, I said, gently touching her hair. You're wonderful, truly. It's just, now isn't the right time. Though she was hurt by my rejection, Claire didn't give up. She became even more determined, finding any excuse to be near me. Leo, I baked cookies. Have one. Leo, the sunset is incredible tonight. Let's watch it together. Leo, I wrote a new poem. Can you read it? Her persistence began to wear down my defenses. One evening, she came down with a fever, and I sat by her bedside all night, replacing the cool cloth on her forehead. Leo, do you really not like me at all? She asked, her voice weak. Seeing her so pale and vulnerable was like a knife in my chest. Claire, just rest. Don't think about that now. But if you don't like me, why are you so good to me? She whispered, tears welling in her eyes. I reached out and wiped a tear from her cheek. Because you're the most important person in the world to me. The most important person. A flicker of hope returned to her eyes. Yeah, I nodded. So you have to get better. What I really wanted to say was, because I love you. Just as our connection was deepening into something undeniable, a voice echoed in my mind, cold and digital. Host, the mission is complete. Prepare for extraction. I froze. So it was true. I was brought here by some kind of system, and my only purpose was to cure Claire's depression. When am I leaving? I asked the voice in my head. In 3 days. 3 days. That was nothing. I looked out the window and saw Claire in the garden, easels set up, painting the roses. An overwhelming sense of loss washed over me. But I knew I had to go. This wasn't my world. I couldn't ruin her life by staying. For the next 3 days, I acted as normal as I could, not wanting to give anything away. On the last night, I went to her room. Claire, I have to go away for a while. Go away. She put down her paintbrush. Where? For how long? Far away. I might be gone for a long time. Panic flared in her eyes. Why do you have to go? Did I do something wrong? No, I shook my head. It's just something I have to do. Then I'll wait for you, she said with unwavering conviction. Looking at her, my heart shattered. Claire, don't wait for me. You're young. You'll meet someone better. No, she said, her eyes filling with tears. I only want you. I took a deep breath and made the hardest decision of my life. Claire, the truth is, I never loved you. She stared at me, completely frozen. I was nice to you because I felt sorry for you. Now that you're better, my job is done. I forced the cruel words out. You're lying, right? She sobbed. I closed my eyes and turned to leave. Take care of yourself. The next morning, I vanished. When I opened my eyes, I was back in my tiny Brooklyn apartment. The faint imprint of my face was still on the keyboard, lines of code glowing on the monitor. It was all a dream, but I knew it wasn't. I picked up my phone, and there, on the screen, was a new message notification from Instagram. The profile picture was a candid shot of Claire, smiling in the garden. The message read, "Leo, where are you?" I was breathless. Had she crossed over too? My fingers trembled as I typed a reply. "Claire, is that you?" Her response was instant. "It's me. I've been looking for you for so long." "How did you get here?" "I don't know," she replied, followed by a crying emoji. All I knew was that I had to find you. My mind was a chaotic mess of emotions. I was overjoyed to have found her again, but terrified for her in this strange, new world. "Where are you right now?" "I don't know. There are so many things here I don't recognize." I immediately sent her my location. "Can you find this address? I'll come get you." Half an hour later, I saw her standing on the street corner below my apartment building. It was the same familiar face, but she was dressed in modern clothes, looking both completely out of place and utterly familiar. "Leo." She ran into my arms, sobbing. I held her tight, a storm of feelings raging inside me. "It's okay. Let's just go upstairs." Back in my studio, I started the monumental task of explaining the modern world to her. This is a smartphone. You can use it to call people and send messages. This is a laptop. For work, watching movies, shopping. This is an air conditioner. It makes the room cool or warm. She was like a curious child, fascinated by everything. This world is magical, but the magic quickly faded as reality set in. "Claire, you don't have an ID. You can't do much of anything without one." "What's an ID?" I rubbed my temples, a headache forming. Getting her settled in this world was going to be a long, complicated process. In the weeks that followed, I managed to pull some strings and get Claire a legal identity, found her a part-time job at a local art supply store, and taught her the basics of modern life. But I kept a wall between us. "Leo, why won't you talk to me?" "I'm busy with work." "Then why won't you have dinner with me?" "I have to work late." "Then why won't you watch a movie with me?" "I'm tired." The truth was I was scared. I was terrified that if I let my guard down, I would never be able to let her go again. Claire looked at me, her eyes brimming with hurt. "Leo, are you still mad at me?" "No." "Then why are you being so cold?" I turned my back to her. "I just don't think we're right for each other." My coldness didn't deter her. Every morning, she'd have breakfast ready for me. "Leo, I learned how to make pancakes. Try some." "I'm not hungry." "Then I made you a smoothie." "For the vitamins." "I'm not thirsty." "Then I bought you your favorite coffee from the corner cafe." I don't want it." Disappointment flashed across her face, but she persisted. "Okay, I'll leave it here in case you change your mind." Every night, she would wait up for me. "Leo, you must be exhausted." "Yeah, I made some soup. You should have some." "I don't want any." "Then I drew a hot bath for you." I could do it myself. Watching her bustle around, trying so hard, filled me with a mixture of warmth and overwhelming guilt. Though I acted indifferent, I was always watching over her. Once she got sick, I pretended not to care, but I secretly bought medicine and left it on her nightstand. "Leo, did you buy this for me?" "No, must have been the neighbors." "The neighbors? We don't know them." "Well, maybe the delivery guy made a mistake." She smiled faintly. Would a delivery guy buy cold medicine for a stranger? I felt my face flush and quickly changed the subject. "Just take the medicine." Another time, she cut her hand while cooking, and I rushed into the kitchen. "How could you be so careless?" I said, anxiously examining the cut. "It's just a tiny nick. It's fine," she said, trying to calm me down. I carefully cleaned and bandaged her finger. My touch as gentle as if she were made of glass. "Leo," she said, watching me, "you do still care about me, don't you?" My hand froze. That night, I lay in bed, unable to sleep. All I could see was Claire, her smile, her tears, her frustration, the way she looked when she was happy. I knew what I was running from. I was afraid of falling in love with her all over again, only to lose her. But even more than that, I was afraid I wasn't good enough for her. I was just an ordinary programmer living in a tiny apartment. She was this incredible, talented artist who came from a world of elegance and grace. The gap between us felt a million miles wide. "Leo, are you asleep?" Her soft voice came from outside my bedroom door. I stayed silent, pretending. "I know you're not," she continued. I just wanted to tell you, no matter how you treat me, I'm not giving up. My heart seized in my chest. Because I love you. Her voice cracked with emotion. In this lifetime, you're the only one I will ever love. I squeezed my eyes shut as a tear finally escaped and rolled down my cheek. The next day, I made up an excuse to get her out of my life, at least for a little while. Claire, I might have to go on a business trip. A business trip? Anxiety flashed in her eyes. Where? For how long? To San Francisco. For about a month. It was a lie, of course. I was just running away. Then I'll go with you. No, I said flatly. It's for work. You can't help. The hurt in her eyes was sharp. I wouldn't be any trouble. Just stay here. I'll be back before you know it. I packed a bag, planning to check into a hotel for a few weeks. Leo, she called out as I reached the door. You don't want me around anymore, do you? I stood with my back to her, unable to answer. If you really don't want me, I can leave, she said, her voice barely a whisper. I won't bother you again. A wave of panic hit me, but I forced myself to be cruel. Do whatever you want. That night, my phone rang. It was my landlord. Hey kid, your girlfriend moved out. My blood ran cold. Moved out? Yeah, she left this afternoon. Even settled up the lease and got her deposit back. I bolted out of the hotel and raced back to my apartment. It was empty. All of Claire's things were gone. The only thing left was a note on the kitchen counter. Leo, I know you don't love me, so I left. Thank you for taking care of me. I'll be fine on my own. Please don't look for me. I don't want to be a burden anymore. Love, Claire. I stared at the note, my hands shaking. She was really gone. I ran out into the night and started searching for her like a madman, but in a city this big, where could I even begin? For the next few days, I was a ghost. I thought about her at work. I thought about her when I tried to eat. I thought about her when I lay in my empty apartment at night. I scoured social media for any trace of her, posted on forums, and even hired a private investigator. Nothing. Sir, it's like this person just vanished off the face of the earth. The P.I. told me, keep looking. I insisted. There has to be another way. In a moment of desperation, I looked up at the sky and screamed, System, you brought us here. You have to help me find her. Only silence answered. A terrible thought began to form in my mind. What if she had gone back to her own world? Just as I was about to lose all hope, I found myself wandering through a small art gallery. And then I saw it. It was a beautiful landscape painting, and the style, ethereal and full of emotion, was unmistakably Claire's. I rushed to the front desk. Excuse me, can you tell me who the artist of that landscape is? That's by a new artist, a Ms. Claire Sullivan, the gallery attendant said. Her work has a very classical feel. It's been getting quite a bit of attention. Claire, it had to be her. Where is she? I need to see her. I'm sorry. Ms. Sullivan is a very private person. She doesn't usually meet with people. I pulled out my phone and showed the attendant a picture of us I had secretly taken. She's my girlfriend. We had a fight, and I need to find her to apologize. The attendant looked from a photo to my desperate face. Okay, hold on. Let me see what I can do. 3 days later, I was sitting in a coffee shop, waiting, and then she walked in. It was her, but she was thinner, and the light that used to shine in her eyes was gone. Claire. I choked out her name. She saw me and flinched, but quickly composed herself. Leo, what do you want? Hearing her use my full name, not the familiar Leo, felt like a punch to the gut. I miss you. You miss me? She let out a short, bitter laugh. Didn't you say we weren't right for each other? I was wrong, I said, my voice thick with regret. I shouldn't have treated you that way. Wrong. Tears welled in her eyes. Leo, do you have any idea what I've been through? I shook my head, consumed by guilt. I spent every single day wondering what I did wrong, she cried. I worked so hard to learn about this world, hoping I could finally be good enough for you. And you just threw me away. I reached out to wipe her tears, but she pulled back. Claire, I know I hurt you, I said, my voice pleading. Please, just give me one more chance to make it up to you. Make it up to me? She looked at me, her expression unreadable. How? I'll do anything. Anything at all, if you'll just forgive me. She was silent for a long time. Finally, she spoke. Leo, I'm so tired. I know. It's all my fault. I need time to think. I nodded immediately. I'll wait. I'll wait as long as it takes. She stood up. I have to go. Watching her walk away felt like my heart was being torn in two. But I wouldn't give up. I was going to win her back. From that day on, I began a relentless campaign to win her back. Every morning, I waited outside the art studio she rented, holding a coffee and breakfast. "Claire, I got you that bagel with the veggie cream cheese you like." "Thanks, you can just leave it there," she'd say without looking up from her canvas. At noon, I would bring her lunch. "Claire, it's a little chilly today, so I brought you some soup." "Okay." Her voice was always flat. At night, I would wait to walk her home. "Claire, let me walk you." "I'm fine on my own." I was rejected countless times, but I never stopped trying. I started learning new skills, anything I thought might help her. I learned to cook so I could make her favorite meals. I studied art supplies so I could help her mix paints and organize her studio. I even learned how to professionally frame her finished canvases. Slowly, very slowly, things started to change. "This soup is actually good. You mixed this color perfectly. This frame looks beautiful." They were small victories, but to me, they felt monumental. A month later, her attitude had softened. She was no longer so cold, and sometimes she would even start a conversation. "Leo, why are you doing all of this?" "Because I need to fix my mistake." "Is it worth it?" She looked at me. "For someone who doesn't love you anymore." I met her gaze directly. "Claire, do you really not love me anymore?" She hesitated, then looked away. "I don't know." "Then let me prove it to you," I said, taking her hand. "Let me earn your heart back." She didn't pull away, and in that moment, I felt a surge of hope. Another month passed, and I knew the time was right. I went to her studio early and filled it with hundreds of her favorite flowers. White gardenias. "Claire, I need to talk to you." She walked in and gasped, her eyes wide with surprise. "Leo, what is all this?" "I love you," I said, dropping to one knee. "I really, truly love you, Leo." Tears began to stream down her face. "I know I hurt you, but I finally understand," I said, looking up at her. "A world without you in it is meaningless to me." "But," "No buts," I interrupted. "I love you. Not out of pity, not out of duty. I love you for you." She was sobbing now. "I love you too. I never stopped loving you." I stood up and pulled her into a tight embrace. "I'm so sorry I put you through all that." "It's okay," she whispered into my chest. "As long as you're back." After we got back together, life became impossibly sweet. Every morning, I woke up early to make breakfast. "Leo, you're up so early," she'd say, rubbing the sleep from her eyes as she shuffled into the kitchen. "I want you to wake up to a hot meal every day," I'd reply with a grin. "You're going to spoil me." "That's the plan," I said, pinching her cheek. "I'm going to make you the most spoiled, happiest woman in the world." She would blush and playfully push me away. We'd go shopping, and I'd patiently wait as she tried on a dozen different outfits. We'd watch movies on the couch, her head resting on my shoulder, and I'd hold her tight, promising her that I would spend the rest of my life making her feel loved and secure. After a year, I knew it was time to take her home to meet my parents. "Mom, Dad, this is my girlfriend, Claire." "It's so nice to meet you both," she said politely. My mom adored her instantly. "Oh, look at her. She's so beautiful and has such lovely manners." "Mom, don't embarrass her," I mumbled. "I'm not embarrassed," Claire said, blushing. At dinner, my dad asked, "So Claire, what do you do for a living?" "I'm a painter, sir." "A painter?" my dad said, intrigued. "We'd love to see your work sometime." Claire showed them photos of her paintings on her phone, and my parents were blown away. "Wow, she's incredible," my mom exclaimed. "Our Leo is a lucky man." "Mom, it's me who's the lucky one," Claire said sweetly. Seeing her fit in so perfectly with my family made my heart feel full. After 2 years together, I decided to propose. I planned it all in secret, choosing the place where we had our first real date after getting back together, a small botanical garden downtown. I decorated a secluded gazebo with hundreds of roses, arranged in the shape of a heart. "Claire, let's go for a walk in the gardens," I suggested casually one evening. "Okay," she said, completely unsuspecting. When she saw the gazebo, she stopped dead in her tracks. "Leo, is this?" I pulled out the ring I'd been carrying for weeks and got down on one knee. "Claire Sullivan, will you marry me?" She covered her mouth, tears streaming down her face. When did you plan all this?" "A long time ago," I said, my voice thick with emotion. "I want to give you the most romantic proposal in the world." "It's so sudden," she sobbed happily. "So what's your answer?" I asked, my heart pounding. "Of course, yes," she cried, throwing her arms around me. Yes, a million times yes. I stood up and held her close. Thank you. Thank you for saying yes. No, thank you, she whispered. Thank you for never giving up on me. 6 months later, we had our wedding. The venue was like something out of fairy tale, filled with flowers and soft light. I stood at the altar in my tuxedo, my hands trembling with nervous excitement. And then I saw her, walking down the aisle in a white dress. She was the most beautiful thing I had ever seen. You look perfect, I whispered as I took her hand. You're not so bad yourself, she smiled. When we exchanged our vows and the officiant pronounced us husband and wife, the world seemed to fade away. In that moment, it was just the two of us. I love you, Leo, she whispered after we kissed. I love you too, my wife, I replied. The years that followed were a blur of simple, profound happiness. We built a life together, filled with lazy Sunday mornings, shared laughter, and the quiet comfort of knowing you found your person. Claire's art career took off, and my own work felt more meaningful than ever. A year after our wedding, Claire told me she was pregnant. 9 months later, we welcomed our son, Finn, into the world. Holding him for the first time, looking from his tiny face to my wife's tired but radiant smile, I understood the meaning of perfect happiness. Our days became filled with the delightful chaos of raising a child. Finn's first word was Dada, and his first steps were taken as he toddled from his mother's arms into mine. Our life was ordinary, and it was everything I had ever wanted. Years passed. We grew older, our hair turned gray, and Finn grew up and started a family of his own. But some things never changed. We still sat on the porch together in the evenings, watching the sunset. My love, Claire would say, her hand in mine. Do you remember when we were young? I remember. I'd reply, turning to look at her. You're still the most beautiful girl I've ever seen. She would smile, that same smile that had captured my heart all those years ago. Our life wasn't a fairy tale. It was real. We had our struggles and our disagreements, but our love was the constant, unwavering anchor in our lives. It was a love born from a strange twist of fate, tested by pain and distance, and forged into something unbreakable. Thank you, wherever you are, for that bizarre, impossible journey. It led me to her, Claire, my wife, my love, my entire world. I love you, forever.